Live. Here we are live. Live. The 4-card draw. I'm going to just wait. Hello, Sandra. How are you? Hello, Rena. Welcome. I'm going to put on, oops. Hello, Tony. Whoops. How's it going? I got to turn off my sound. I got to be more technical in my next life. Hi, Krista. Hello, Angie. Hey, listen, I got my unicorn shirt on. Hi, Michelle. Nice to see you. I'm going to wait for a few minutes to see who else comes on. We're going to be doing the reveal of the 4-card draw. Talk about it. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Mary and Percy, little sweeties. How's it going? I'm going to just, hello, Angie. I'm going to just bring it down a bit here so you can see. Here are the four cards. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hello, Nancy. Hi, Krista Marie. So we'll wait a little bit. Where's your talking head shirt? I got my unicorn shirt on. What are you talking about? My talking head shirt, I got 2 of them now. I'm so excited. Hello, Paul. So just so you know, hi, Maggie. Sending you love. So just so you know this morning what my intention is, and it's very interesting. I got a couple of messages from people that really like, hello, beautiful Brianna. Beautiful Brie. It's really interesting because like everything I do is kind of deliberate. And so I throw out 4 cards, and I'm not going to pretend that I selected them because they come from my past life deck. And there's leadership, like spiritual leadership in my deck, but they're very, very distinct in a way. And so I thought, well, I'm just going to throw it out there. I'm going to put 4 random, spiritual cards in, like in a random order, and just, I don't even know what they are. And part of it is for you to sort of engage. I think it's important that you engage. I love it. I love the feedback. I love drawing you in. I think it's so good. I'd like to test you to see. Some of you may take your time in the selection. Some of you may just do it right away. But there's a reason that I'm doing it, and it's to support the development that I know all of you are so interested in. And so it either confirms something inside of you, or the message confirms something inside of you, or your selection. Hello, Annette. Hello from Godrich. And I find that very empowering. I think that that's very cool. All of us kind of drawn to the 9th, and the energy of the 9th definitely are spiritual leaders. And hello, Brooke and Suzanne. All of us are. But not everyone in the world is. I mean, there's some people that don't want to be involved with other people's stuff. There's some, hello, Lansdowne. I'm not sure what that is, but hello. So it's just interesting to see the gifts that you bring, and with those gifts come very particular challenges. And so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that today. And so I'm going to bring this down just so you can see again. These are 4 cards, and they speak of the contract that you brought as a spiritual leader in this life. Because if you are inclined to be of service, where you want to be helpful to other people, or that you're interested in being a mentor or a person that supports another person's growth and spiritual growth. That is a very beautiful thing. And so, but there definitely are, at least in my deck, I identified some very interesting spiritual leaders and their qualities. So again, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. And I was looking at your messages and before this all went on, and I noticed there was a lot of 3s. There was a lot of 3s, there was a couple of 2s, there was a couple of 1s, there were a couple of 4s, but a lot of you picked the number 3. And so now that you're kind of in the presence of these cards, you may choose that you want to go to a different number. And just so you know, it's not like whatever one you picked, it doesn't define you, because all of us have all of the same qualities, no different than hair color. All of us have got, but there's a prominent color that kind of surfaces. Okay, Maggie, you're going for 3. Okay, Tony is 2. Yeah, type them out. I love to see. So we got a 3 and a 2. I was drawn to 2 and 4. Nancy, you're a 1. Very cool. Who else? Brooke is 2. Sandra is 4. Mary is 1 and 3. Kayla is 3. Angie is 3. Tanaya, is that how you say your name? 2. Bree is 1 and 3. Very cool. And so what I decided I was going to do, which is kind of interesting, is we're going to do initially the first draw that you guys picked, and then after they're all revealed, 4 with a strong pull to 3, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just shuffle them up again, and then you're going to pick and see if you indeed picked the same card. A 2 from Misty, very cool. Excellent. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn over the number 1 card. And I'm going to bring this up. This is a shaman. So any of you who picked number 1, this is the card that represents the shaman. And the shaman is an old soul. And they are record keepers. Their gift really comes right through their crown, and it comes out their hands. Often they have warm bodies. They're like little furnaces. They are solid. They're like anchors. They connect with the earth. As children, they struggled with their peers. They struggled actually even with like learning in school, because they have this library of knowledge inside of them that's very old. Typically, with the shaman energy, this mystic, you can see their age almost in their eyes. They have deep eyes, and their eyes have kind of draw you in, but they're very stoic. They, very earthbound, and they are teachers, and they're mentors, and they're calming, and they're consistent. Often they are great leaders, but they like to do their own thing. Like they like to create their own laws. They have great respect. Respect for them is very, very important. They're sensitive to being disrespected in any way. And they carry themselves with this real energy that they have a certain importance. They see through you. They have the ability to see through you. And you can tell that they see right through your soul. One of the challenges is they don't like change. They like to know that things kind of are the way that they are, and they're traditionalists, and they tend to be ritualists, and the ritualists, their life is kind of very dedicated to certain ritual. So in that way, it's not that they're inflexible or they're rigid, it's just that they believe what they believe. And so they definitely have that kind of, you just know, like, when they believe something, they're not great at negotiating that. So it's just interesting. So just so you know, number one, definitely the shaman. Okay? Number two, in my past life deck, when I was creating my deck, I wanted to be present in the deck. It was important for me to be, not as necessarily as a spiritual leader, but as a reluctant spiritual leader. This is the card number 2. So any of you out there that are drawn to 2, that's this card. And just so you know, and this was absolutely intuitive because I just placed cards on all the stones, but for the first card, I put a rhodonite. Anyways, I can't even see that word. Anyways, I put that, and this is really about life's purpose. I can't even say it. I'm not even going to pretend to say it, but you know what I'm talking about. It's a weird name, but anyways. So, and on the second card, I just intuitively put the orgonite, which is a filter. And so for those of you that picked number 2, this really, when I was downloading my deck, it was really interesting because this is the reluctant healer. And this is a healer that didn't start off this life knowing that they were going to be of service. Typically with this leader type, they struggle early in their life. They may have issues with alcohol. They may have issues with drugs. They may have, issues with worthiness. They may have made some critical decisions that they are not proud of. I know when I did the download for this particular card, it was really neat because the download was this group of people that came in, and they were this community. And in this community, there were a lot of people that had a broken spirit, but they didn't come to this life with a broken spirit. Hard times had fallen on them, and they had kind of lost their hope and lost direction. And there was a community of them, and they were kind of bonded together. And a few of the people in this community believed that, this person was a leader. And in my vision, it's like, no, I'm not a leader. There's no way in this world I'm a spiritual leader. But thank you very much. But that's not who I am. But at every time there was any trouble, that person would show up, and they would advocate, and they would lead, and they would protect, and they would defend. And and then these people would come and say, I told you, like, don't you see you're a leader? So this is the reluctant leader. This is the one that definitely has come from a place of struggle. They are sensitive to rejection. They tend to be quite loner types. They're very sensitive to any type of dismissal. They question whether they fit or whether they belong. They struggle with intimacy. They want a closeness, but on the other hand, they're afraid of it. Typically, they have more attachment issues. They've had people leave their life. They've had some sort of spiritual breakthrough. And so for them, it's like, and really for the 2 card, it's about confidence. Like sometimes they struggle with feeling worthy of having this particular energy that draws people to them. And so Number 2 is the reluctant but powerful spiritual leader. Number 3, which has this beautiful quartz on it. A lot of you picked 3. Look at this card. And when I was receiving the downloads from my cards, it was really neat because it's not like I sit at the table and start defining what the card or the image is. It really is about me going to bed, waking up, inscribing what I learned about the identity of this card. And this card really speaks about the spiritual leader that in a past life had walked with the dead. They had walked with the suffering, and it was like they walked beside them. And their contract was not to absorb. Wow, this is the only card I've ever pulled from this deck. Wow. And you picked number 3. And what's really amazing is their contract was to walk beside someone who was being challenged with a shamanic test. And their job or their contract was not to take on the suffering of that person, not to in any way alter that person's experience, because if they interfered, that person that they walked beside would ultimately fail the test. And most of the time, you did very well, but there would be a few times where you couldn't help yourself, and so you would absorb the emotion of the person, and the person ultimately would fail the test. So this particular type of healer is highly sensitive to anyone who is suffering. They are incredibly empathic. They often take on other people's stuff. They don't feel they have the right to have boundaries. They struggle with, feeling worthy. Like they don't, they've seen so much suffering, and that's what I love so much about people that this past life, this whole concept that, we carry an imprint that is very, very old, and there's certain things that definitely, trigger that. And so for this particular healer, they are non-judgmental. They are kind. They are devoted. They often will draw people to them that struggle. So often they have difficulty with their own relationships. They may draw someone to them that needs to be fixed or needs their attention. And so if you pick this card, it lets me know for you, one thing that would be very good for you is tourmaline, just to kind of create a space and to really revisit that. You don't have to absorb the emotion of other people's suffering in order for them to know that you love them. So I mean, just look at, I just loved this image. I just loved it. And this is also a person who's very devoted in a past life. If you resonate with this particular number 3, they no matter what, they sat with the dying, and they would not leave, even though they just felt it a great privilege to be there. So even in this life, you're very devoted right to the very, very end. So I mean, I just think that that's very cool, and I love that. I can just feel. What did you say, Christina? Didn't you pick 3? Really sounds like you to me. So just so you know, okay? Then number 4. And there were a few of you that picked number 4. Look at this card. When I did the download for this particular card in my deck, it was really neat. I had woken up, and immediately I knew that there was something that I just felt different, and the image of and the vision of this particular card is, in a past life you were a person that was completely selfless. Like you just gave of yourself, and with no judgment. You were inspiring, you were supportive, no matter what you went through. You always saw the glass half full as opposed to half empty. Very, very like embracing. just people were just drawn to your energy, and you just gave of yourself. And just prior to your death in that lifetime, God or the divine came and placed their energy right on your crown and just said, you are the gifted. You are the gifted. Could you explain what you mean by the download of the card? Okay, so it took me like 3 years to create my deck. And these images are from my past life deck. So often what happens is people will create a deck and stuff, and they write the image, or they'll write down the definition. With me, that's not how this deck came to me. In fact, it's not how the first deck that I created came to me. It's like I go to bed, I wake up, and the definition of the card is downloaded as I'm sleeping, and so I wake up and just go, okay, that's cool, and I just write it down. My job is not to restore whatever the message was. My job was just to scribe what I received from the download. So I hope, Caleb, that explains it for you. It's highly intuitive. It's not like I went to bed going, okay, I'd like to know the definition for this particular card. It was like that. I knew the images were there. I knew that I needed to know the meaning. I didn't rush it. I knew it would come when it was ready. And so that's how this deck came to life. Okay? So this one being the card of inspiration. So this particular type of healer, they work with light. So they don't like, I'm a bit of a shadow worker. I got to be honest. Like, I'm curious about that, and I like that hidden self. I had to make peace with my hidden self a bit. But this particular type of healer is just about light and love and embracing and all of that stuff. And they're the ones that just they come into a room and they just change the energy of the room, and they don't want to talk anything negative. They don't want to look at that stuff. And it's not because they don't have the ability. It's just not drawn to them. Like, that's just not what they're about. They are very sensitive to their environment. Like, they don't do well with crowds, even though they draw a crowd. Their smile just changes a whole room. I mean, you just feel like their presence is just light and bubbly and encouraging and inspiring. And so, no doubt, if you were drawn to the number 4, it's because that you embrace that type of, everything for you is love. Love, is the answer and the medicine to everything. Prayer for you is incredibly important. You have come here contracted to inspire and promote the magic in other people through inspiration. So again, just so you know, I'm going to bring these down and just to sort of reflect again. So we have the earth worker, which I call the shaman, very, very much about the earth and all of that. And so, I mean, and they really are an old soul. They're a record keeper. They're stoic. They're powerful. They just demand, like, you can just see that they have a great respect, and they kind of carry themselves in that way. The reluctant healer, the healer that has definitely struggled but has been committed to healing and uses their wounds as their medicine for other people. This one here really is the compassionate and the one that is very empathic, very compassionate, very loving, very devoted. They tend to take on other people's issues. And then this, which is the inspiration. So I'm just curious. I want you to give me a little bit of feedback just to see if the number resonates. If you picked it, did it resonate with you? I want to see. Right on. Amy, what number did you pick, Amy? Anybody else? out there. Yes. Very cool. 100%. Very cool. You were 2, lady love. 3 definitely feels like me. Yes. And so 3s, I mean, and it just makes sense. I mean, 3, the 3 card really are people. I picked 1 and 2, and the second card makes the most sense for me. What do you think? Yes. Yes, I picked 2 and it resonates. Absolutely. Very cool. Now what we're going to do, I take on everyone's problems, but you know what? I believe that's it's a contract, so you get to renegotiate that contract. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. Yes, 3. Yes, both 3 and 4. Very cool. Absolutely. And that's one thing, you know, we get to renegotiate. 2 resonated, but a bit of 3 as I listened. I was going to pick 4, then chose 3. 4 is definitely, yes, 3. Very cool. Mine was the same as my reading with you. Very cool. I've always used my wounds to help others. It's the only way that you can come away from them, is if you bring medicine from them, for sure. Excellent. So now what we're going to do, are you ready for this? You're going to love it. I'm going to take, just so, this is really cool because I put this, I put this generator on top of the 4th card, and they're all about energy and direction of energy. How do we renegotiate? Love them both. Number 1, the very important thing that you need to do is recognize that this is what you do. Like, you know, this is what you do. Like, all of us know. Like, I know, for me, I used to hide. I used to run. I used to disappear. I felt like an orphan. And it was my response to my emotions. And so then what I had to do when I made the decision that I was going to renegotiate, I made the commitment that I was no longer going to run, no matter what. And what I used to say to myself all the time was, I am not going to shrink. When I'd run or hide or disappear, and you could ask my family, I would disappear for weeks. I would be gone for weeks, under the radar, like, don't even contact me. And I just realized that was really undermining my relationships with the people I love. Like, how could they trust me? How could they be honest with me? Because the fact that if they said something that I didn't like, I would just withdraw from them. And so I made the decision, in order for me to heal, that I had to stop doing that. I had to come up with a different way to deal with my emotions. And that's when I made the decision I wasn't going to run anymore. So it's like, you know, it's if you are a person that knows that you absorb the emotion of other people, and you just say, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to. Like, you own yourself, I'll be here. And that's why I created the affirmation deck recently, is just to kind of bring those concepts, like, because there were very, very select things that I used to say to myself when I was triggered, and I kind of brought those to this new affirmation deck that I've been working on for the last year or so. So it's where you just get to renegotiate and kind of come away from what you normally do and how you normally respond. So yes, so it's that we could do a workshop on just that alone, but I hope that gives you a little bit of insight for that. I'm manifesting not to allow the negativity of others engulf me so much. And that's good. It's like, no, I don't have to absorb your emotion in order to know that you're in pain. I will acknowledge your pain, but I'm not going to, take it on. And this is one thing that I've said to people a lot this past year, is most people, there are certain people out there, particularly this type of spiritual leader, that they are so sensitive that they literally can feel the energy of a dead bird on the ground. And they've been contracted to absorb the energy of the dead bird. And what I say to people is this: if you absorb the energy of the dead bird, the bird is still dead. So it's like, why do that? It's like, I'm not going to do that. In fact, I'm going to honor whatever emotional state you're in, and I'll be here, but I'm not going to take it on. So yes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these little babies off and we're going to shuffle them up and we're going to see if you pick the same ones. Holy, holy. So we're going to just shuffle, and I'm just going to do it random, and then we're going to see if you pick the same one. So I want you to join with me, okay? Join with me as I shuffle. Okay. Oh, I am going to just kind of go like this. I just feel like I need to do that. Okay. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. There you go. So, here we go. Let's see, I'm going to have to bring them a little bit closer together. So again, I want you just to take a second and decide. And it'll just be interesting for you to see if you pick the same card. Okay, Maggie is 1, Renee is 2, MJ is 2, Nicole is 2, Lisa is 3, Miss A is 3, Misty 1, 1, Sandra is 1. Wow, that's so cool. 2, Kayla, hi Val. Kayla is 4, Annette is 3. Hello, Tammy. Tony is 3. So again, this is where we're literally picking the card again. 1. Kayla's going with 3. Elizabeth 3. Suzanne 3. Hello, Taylor. Brooke 1 and 4. Kayla 4, okay. Angie is 1. 3. It's sparkling. 4. 4. 2. 1 and 2. 1. 1. 2. Hi, sweets. MJ says it's exciting. Isn't it exciting? It is exciting. Okay, you guys ready? So, let's see. Here's the number 1 card. Look at that. The shaman lined right up. And this is what I find. Do you not see how flippin' cool that is? Did I not say to you, the shaman? Absolutely. It doesn't surprise me. You saw me shuffle. I wasn't doing any tricks here. Who shows up first? But the shaman. That to me is powerful. And do I believe that there's kind of this hierarchy? Yes, I do. And so here, it's I'm shown right up. And so the number 1 of you that decided that you wanted the number 1 card, there it is. Number 2, you ready? Look at that. See, when I wear my unicorn shirt, everything happens. Do you not see that? Number 2, this is, again, the reluctant healer that struggles with worthiness. Although they're powerful, they'll forgive everybody else, but they struggle with their own. It's where they bring their wounds, all of their wounds. I am a unicorn. Thanks, man. You ready? Here comes number 3. Listen, if we turn it over and it's the same, we're going to Vegas, man. Here we go. Bam. Here's the star. I call this one really, really, really is called the gifted. They're inspirational. They're loving. They're encouraging. They bring this energy that changes a room. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this one, the empath, this beautiful empath that walks and has a great appreciation for people that suffer, that struggles with boundaries, that will do anything they can to be of service. So, did you guys pick the same card on the second round? I want to know. I had 3, then 3. Very cool. And so if you picked the same card, just so you know, bang on. Yay! You didn't pick the same card, okay? No, very cool. Yes, very cool, Nicole. Same one, very cool. Which one did you pick, Taylor? Michelle picked the same one. Yes, Amy, okay. The really interesting thing is I think the reason I did that is just because once you hear the definitions, and then I thought I'd put it out again just to see, then you had that opportunity to, reconnect. Now, sometimes you pick the same card. Sometimes it would be a different card. Perhaps when I was sort of giving you the message of the card of the first round, it just kind of changed that. Would a shaman card feel all the cards? Absolutely. Don't get me wrong, there's a little bit of this in all of you, but it's just interesting. Yeah, you told me I was a reluctant healer in my past life reading. Yes, very much so. So it's just really, really interesting. Different first one was best fit, but the second pick resonated most compared to the other cards. Very cool. It just gives you, sometimes we may believe, well, this is the only type of energy that I bring. And that may be why you get a different one. First 3, I'm drawn to the shaman strongly as well. High vibes here. Thank you. Thank you. And so it just absolutely, and that's what I love, is I'm going to ask you a question. Did this 4-card draw confirm a truth inside of you that you already knew? I want you to answer that question for me. Did this reading, this 4-card reading, I'm sitting here with you, did it confirm a truth inside of you that you already know? 100%. Good. Yes, for sure. Good. Absolutely. Good. So much confirmation. Good. Yes. Yes. Confirmation. Good. Yes. Thank you. You're most welcome. Absolutely yes. It did for sure. Good. Definitely. It was beautiful and yes. Totes, yes. Yes. And see what's really, thank you. And see what's really interesting is, you are only as good is if you believe you're good at what you do. And that's what I love about these readings. I love the interaction of them. And, you know, I'm going to give you another question. Ready for this? Did this reading kind of really connect your confidence in the work that you're doing and bringing forward? So I'm talking about your confidence in your work. Did this 4-card reading trigger and sort of bring a greater confidence? Yes. Good. And that's what I love. That's why I continue to do this. That's why I love to have you pick and, you know, and being able to kind of draw from it when you come away from the reading, that you feel just more present. I'm just beginning, but was very like, if you're tuning in here, if you're interested in cards, if you're interested in any of this, trust me, it's not new to you. It's just that you're bringing it more to the surface. As a reluctant healer, yes, confirmation. Yes, confidence in intuitive abilities. Good. That's right. Excellent. Yesterday happens to be a good day for these kinds of energies. You're a wonderful teacher. Thank you so much. And so, just so you know, I'm going to be doing this again, only it'll be next week, but it will be the same kind of thing, and it's where you just trust your gut. And so that's why I want you, you know, if you do see this again when we do the 4-card, it'll be a very specific thing that I'm going after. So it's even how you approach it. I want you to approach it. Not just going, oh, I'm just going to do this. Like, sure, you go with your intuition right away if you like, but I want you to know that I'm calling on you. That's what I'm doing, is I'm calling on you and bringing forth your energy and inviting you in this read. So thank you, everyone. Didn't you love my unicorn shirt? It brought us all sorts of cool energy. And is your deck for sale? My deck will be for sale. I have been, I'm writing out, I'm struggling. I have to be honest, I'm struggling with writing down the imprints and the downloads. And the only reason I'm struggling with it is because I want to do it interactive. Like, I know I have to include a book with my deck, but I am the type of person that I don't want to tell you what to see. So I have to do it in a way that I inspire your own, you know, connection with the image. But yes, it will be absolutely for sale. And Lloyd wants me to get on it sooner than later. I was supposed to be doing it, like, you know, supposed to have it done for Christmas, but you know what? It's all good. So thank you very, very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you. It's good to see you. Take good care of yourselves, and much love. Bye for now.